What's good, people? Flash speaks back. I deem it necessary to have a quick discussion on the man of the hour, Jalen Hurts. Because I think a lot of people don't quite understand the way some of these things should be viewed. Had somebody come on the channel, and it's not about just him, but there seems to be like this theme, this narrative that I'm seeing often, where people are saying that, Jalen Hurts is not a top 5 quarterback in the league. Jalen Hurts is not a top 3 quarterback in the league, but that somehow he's just this very average to below average or even bad quarterback who just has a stacked roster, which is making him look good, or making him look better than he supposedly is. Alright, well, let's talk about that. And I'm going to have you understand why I don't give a damn about that. Why I think it's silly, why I think it's disingenuous, and I think it's ridiculous. You see, I go back to watching this game. I go back a lot of years. And so I'm going to go back not too far. But let's go back to Donovan McNabb, for example. What I experienced in the Donovan McNabb era was I learned 2 things. The first is that having a stacked roster does not keep you off of Pro Bowl teams. It does not keep you off of All-Pro teams. And it does not keep you out of the Hall of Fame. And overachieving or achieving with a less than stacked roster does not gain you extra credit. Let's take Donovan McNabb, for example. We watched Donovan McNabb here in Philadelphia get to 3 NFC title games. He got to 5 altogether, but he got to 3 of them with Deuce Staley at running back, Todd Pinkston and James Thrash at wide receiver, and Chad Lewis at tight end. Okay? No Pro Bowlers. Maybe Chad Lewis made 1 Pro Bowl. That's the tight end. The receivers, no Pro Bowls. And guess what? People were still saying that he's not as good as Kurt Warner or Peyton Manning. And they didn't give 2 damns about the fact that Kurt Warner had 2 Hall of Fame level wide receivers. Okay? Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, Az Hakeem, who was not chopped liver, who was probably as good as who probably would start for the Eagles back then. And he had possibly the player of the decade, Marshall Faulk. Okay? Who was a 2-time Offensive Player of the Year and an MVP. He played with all of that. An offensive line anchored by Orlando Pace may have been the best offensive lineman of the era. Despite Kurt Warner being surrounded with all of that, and in my opinion, underachieving by only winning 1 Super Bowl with all of that, he's in the Hall of Fame. So nobody gives a damn. Nobody ever said, let's take away Holt and Bruce from Kurt Warner and see what he does. Oh, he won't throw 4,000 yards without those guys. Oh, he probably wouldn't, right? But nobody seemed to care about that. Right? Peyton Manning. And trust me, I don't doubt Peyton Manning's ability. I think he was the most talented quarterback of that time. When it comes to arm talent and cerebral talent. What did he have? Marvin Harrison. A top 3 receiver at the time. Who was his number 2? Reggie Wayne. Edgerrin James at running back. Before that, Marshall Faulk. The aforementioned Marshall Faulk. Dallas, I'll forget his name, at tight end. Pro Bowlers all over the place. Hall of Fame level talent all over the place. And you never heard anyone say, hey, let's see if Peyton Manning can do it without those guys. Let's give him the worst receivers in the league and see if he does it. No, what they did was they said he was the best quarterback in the league, or the second best, to Tom Brady. You know why? Because that's the way reality works. No one cares. So I'm saying all this to say, no, Jalen Hurts is a top 3 quarterback in the league. And I don't care about this stupid behind narrative that he's only doing it with a stacked roster. This guy happened to be a Cowboys fan, so I like to say to him, what did Dak do with a stacked roster? Because Dak has had stacked rosters. Some of their content creators are trying to push this narrative that Dak is so treated so poorly. Even though when he came into the league, right, even though he had that good rookie year, he came in with Ezekiel Elliott, who was immediately like a top 3 running back in the league, if not the best running back in the league that year. He had the Wall of Dallas number 2, which was considered the best offensive line in the league at the time. Jason Witten, Dez Bryant, 2 players that were tops of their position. I don't even remember who the other receiver was. Doesn't even matter, right? This is what he came into the league with. You didn't hear Cowboys fans saying, yeah, well, at least it may be some of them, but you didn't hear enough of them saying, yeah, I wonder what would he do if he didn't have that talent. We did find out the next year, right? When Dez, everything was blamed on Dez and they got rid of him and all of that. All right. So I don't want to hear that shit. Excuse my language. I don't want to hear that crap. It's a bunch of nonsense. I don't ever want to see what the Eagles look like, what Jalen Hurts looks like without a bunch of talent. Even though I know he'll be fine. Even though they conveniently forget about the fact that 2 years ago, despite what you might think of him, most of the nonsense that he wasn't good and all of that was nonsense. That's what it was. He dragged a team with a rookie Devontae Smith and really a bunch of running backs to the playoffs, which I thought was a very successful year, his first year starting. I don't care about them losing to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay were the defending, reigning Super Bowl champions. Eagles weren't expected to beat them. This is pretty good. Had to get one of these. I'm out here just chilling. Just thought I'd make this video. Alright. The top quarterbacks in the league right now. This is my top 10. It's my top 10. Number 1, I'll get at the Patrick Mahomes. I don't think there's much to argue about here. I think Patrick Mahomes is the number 1 quarterback in the league. He's the best. He's done it for the longest. I don't even got to run down his stats. He got the numbers that all of y'all love. Also the wins, which I love. Number 2 is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is still the second best quarterback in the league. Don't be fooled by all that stuff about, the year he had last year. He lied about getting a jab or whatever. All that stupid stuff y'all care about and I don't care about. Aaron Rodgers is still the second best quarterback in the league when it comes to arm talent and all of those things. Okay? Number 3 is going to go to here. It could be either Joe Burrow or Jalen Hurts. All right? For right now, I'll go with Joe Burrow. I'll do that. Joe Burrow has gotten to a Super Bowl with a stacked roster, right? At least skill positions anyway. They lost, like Hurts. So they're really on equal footing to me, based off of what I judge on. But I'll give the nod to Burrow. Burrow was already considered ahead of Hurts when they came out and they were drafted. Even though Hurts was a runner-up to him and had numbers that could compete with his, during that year when they were seniors in college. Go to Burrow, no problem. Next after that, I'm not picking nobody over Jalen Hurts. Right after Burrow. All right? Hurts. I don't want to hear Josh Allen. I damn sure don't want to hear Justin Herbert until Justin Herbert wins something. Josh Allen, I get it. People love the physical traits. They love the arm talent. They love all of that stuff. Josh Allen is Brett Favre. He's the Brett Favre of the age. That's what he is. He'll probably eventually break through. It could be this year that they actually make it to the finals. I believe they won't get anywhere until they get a running game. I believe that's what he needs. Buffalo will never do anything while Josh Allen is the leading rusher on the team. That's not sustainable. That's not how you win. For the reason I'm not picking him over Jalen Hurts, and I don't think he thinks the game like Hurts does. I don't think he has it up here like Hurts does. Justin Herbert, I don't know what his problem is. He's what everybody loves, the golden boy. 6'4", 6'5", long arm, all these crazy passes, all of that kind of stuff. Very entertaining to watch. Very entertaining to watch. But at some point you got to produce, buddy. You had enough talent to do it. There's no excuse for going out there and losing to Trevor Lawrence, who had less weapons than you. Okay? When you was really up 28 damn points because your defense got you there. All right, short field scoring. No excuse for Justin Herbert. All right. So after Hurts, I'm going to go Josh Allen. If Josh Allen, I'm going to Deshaun Watson. I understand about the year last year. I hear what y'all say about Trevor Lawrence, but no, I consider a guy's total body of work. Deshaun Watson is still somewhat in there. But you can also go Lamar. I believe Lamar possibly have a better year this year than Watson. But Watson to me just has better arm talent, and he has good and respectable enough mobility. Like nobody runs like Lamar. Him and Vic, nobody runs like those guys. But Deshaun Watson's arm talent over him makes him better. To me. All right, so then we go Lamar. All right, so how many is that there? We got Mahomes, Rodgers, Burrow, Hurts, Allen. After Allen, I go Lamar. Then I go Watson. Then I go Trevor. I'm switching it up a little bit, but yeah, after thinking about it, this is what we're doing. Trevor. After that, Stafford. Stafford, one could actually argue should be up higher. He could be ahead of Hurts and Burrow actually if you want. But because of last year, and I don't know, kind of want to see him do it again. I don't know. I don't know what type of year they're going to have. In terms of talent, Stafford is up there. Then the number 10 guy, I don't know. Could plug in Dak Prescott, but I'm not too sure about Dak, man. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'll give Dak number 10 right there. Sure, why not? And I understand people be mad, why you consider Herbert better than Dak and all of that. Probably because of his talent. Right? You take Herbert and you take Dak and you put him here. Herbert has the edge on talent. His physical talent. The only way Dak could outdo him is if he has to win. Right? One would argue that Herbert's possibly more talented than Hurts as well. Right? But Hurts has gotten to a Super Bowl. Whereas Josh Allen, Herbert hasn't. Right? He just, I can't put him over somebody when he doesn't accomplish anything. I don't care about yards. The most overrated stat for a quarterback is yards. How many yards they pass for. Quarterbacks that pass for 4,000 and 5,000 yards are typically quarterbacks with bad defenses. So they're constantly in shootouts. Right? So personally, I don't want to see that from my quarterback. I don't want to see 5,000 yard seasons and all of that kind of stuff because that tells me that he's in a bunch of shootouts, which means I'm having a heart attack damn near every week. It's not what I want. I want excellence and I want dominance. I want efficiency. Okay? I like for the quarterback stats to look somewhere around between 250 and 350 yards because that's typically efficiency with a good completion percentage. All right? And I want complimentary football. So I'm about winning above all this other stuff. All right? So that's all I got there, man. I don't want to leave y'all with these crazy long videos and all that type of stuff. Dallas Cowboys, y'all going to be all right, man. That's going to be my next video. I'm going to talk about what I think is going to happen as far as these schedules and go through the Eagles' schedule, for example. All right.